What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Dazzle video. Today we're going to be talking about Dubu's Ultimate Dazzle Guide. Okay, so this was something he did on stream. I think his editor is going to release a video soon. But there were a lot of cool, very cool concepts that came out of this guide. Yeah, as soon as I saw this, I said, well, I better watch this thing and learn as much as I can. Dubu is one of the best players of all time. He's got 15,000 MMR, guys. He's a very good professional player. I'm sure a lot of you already follow his channel, things like that. But he had a whole hour, 30-minute segment talking strictly about Dazzle, what makes Dazzle really good right now, what to do in the laning stage, mid-game, and then team fights. So I thought it was an excellent guide. Now, I will say this. He plays a very specific style of Dazzle. He plays position 5 Nothl Boon Dazzle with a 1-1-4 build, playing around his Shadow Wave. And his main item that he highlights is Holy Locket. The word I would use to describe it is consistent. Nothl Boon is a very safe, consistent way to play Dazzle right now in the position 5 role. And the reason is the Shallow Grave and the heal you get from Shallow Grave during your ult. All right, so if we don't know, let's do a little refresher here. When you ult and you Shallow Grave, you don't even have to cast the Shallow Grave during the ult, and the Shallow Grave doesn't even have to end when your ult is active, as long as it overlaps in some way. So if I can cast it here, and right before Shallow Grave ends, I can ult, I will still get the heal from the Shallow Grave. So at level 1 ult, you get 225 heal, which is almost mech, by the way. So you get a free mech. At level 2 it's 300, level 3 it's 375. So it's a very, very strong heal. And then you get a cooldown reduction with your Shadow Waves. With Holy Locket, you get tons of burst heal. You also, remember, get a heal amplification per 10% health missing by 3%, 5%, 7%, 9%. And that was recently buffed about 4 months ago. There's a lot of buffs that happen with the Grave. It also lasts for longer. So at level 1, it's already 4 seconds. At level 4, it's 5.5 seconds. That is a long, long time. All right, so Dubu really is a fan of playing around this heal. So 1-1-4 build, playing around Holy Locket, and playing around the Grave heal. Another thing he is a huge fan of here, and I'll get into this a little bit more, is he wants to play not as a backliner, so he doesn't buy items like Blink or Ether Lens as a position 5. He buys items like Holy Locket, Force Staff, Glimmer Cape, those kind of items the most. The level 10 talent he doesn't touch on at all, but I wouldn't even be surprised if he takes the left talent. He takes the mana talent, because in all of his videos, he does not cast Poison Touch. He doesn't follow up with Poison Touch at all. He just uses it to secure the laning stage at level 1. And then he doesn't really use it other than to cancel a channeling ability on the enemy team. That's it. Let's fast forward into the laning stage. Okay, so let's look at a couple things he mentions here. First of all, he's drinking water. Let's also drink water. He is huge on the Fairy Fire and 2 sentry wards. The reason he has 2 sentries is to make sure the camps are unblocked. So we have our enemy position 4, Wind Ranger. The first thing you want to do is click on him. If he still has a sentry, that means he hasn't blocked your small camp. All right. If he doesn't have a sentry, that means he's blocked the small camp, so you need to unblock it. All right, so the idea behind playing Dazzle in the laning stage revolves around Dazzle's 2 spells, Poison Touch and Shadow Wave. Poison Touch is going to be used to control the jungle camp. So if you're playing Dire, it's these 2 camps here, this whole area. And if you're playing in Radiance, it's going to be these 2. All right, so basically, as Wind Ranger wants to block the camp, you Poison Touch him. And now Wind Ranger cannot fight. She has to run away. And you won't be able to get the kill a lot of times against a Wind Ranger anymore, because Poison Touch was nerfed, the duration. But a lot of heroes, most heroes cannot fight into Poison Touch at level 1. All right, so this is also why you buy the Fairy Fire, is so they decide to go crazy and 1v1 you, you can just Fairy Fire and win the trade. And then once the camps are unblocked, you pull the camp, you stack pull, you do as many half pulls as possible if you have just a single camp, if you haven't stacked it yet. And then the next thing you do is you play around your Shadow Wave. All right, so Shadow Wave is great for pushing out the wave. The minutes between 2 and 3, you don't want to pull camps. You want to push the wave, still control the camps here. So you still want to be standing around here, zoning out your position 4. And then at the 3-minute mark, you want to grab the Lotus. All right, and after 3 minutes at 3:15, you would then go and pull this camp that you've stacked maybe, or you want to half pull. And the whole goal of pulling for Dubu is to deny the enemy creeps. And with Shadow Wave, you are making sure that your carry has a lot of HP, a lot of resources, and then it leads to efficient trading. And this is really the only time that, you know, this Shadow Wave Nothl Boon barrier is really big, is that you can trade efficiently. So you can tank like 2 or 3 hits of while you hit them, and then you can Shadow Wave yourself every 10 or 9 seconds in the laning stage. So that's basically it. All right, control these 2 camps with Poison Touch, and then Shadow Wave to efficiently trade. Make sure your core is healed up so that you can take objectives like the Lotus Pool. So now we go into the mid game. All right, so Dubu highlights something that's very important in the mid game, and mid game is 5 minutes to 10 minutes. All right, so the first thing you would want to do is pull this camp at 5:17, have a sentry and a ward. I always tell people to buy a clarity and a salve as well, but you can go back to base and then smoke out or whatever it is, but make sure you're here at 6 minutes. You want to first secure this power rune. Ideally, your mid laner is going to have a bottle, and they're going to bottle this power rune, so that's why you're here. Next, you want to secure the Lotus. So this can be this Lotus, this can be this Lotus. It really, you kind of have to decide, but ideally what you do is with the power rune that your mid got, you guys are both going to go to the Wisdom rune and get the Wisdom rune. Looking ahead, you have the 8-minute power rune. So as soon as this is secured, you're going to go get the 8-minute power rune. The next big thing is at 10 minutes, you have another power rune. You also have something that Dubu is very, very, very into, and that is the catapult wave. He highlights this very, very hard. Catapult waves are very important for Dazzle because of Shadow Wave. Like I said, he loves to play around Shadow Wave. He has some exceptions. He highlights right here, all right, that the Lycan has Helm of the Dominator. Basically, that's as good as a catapult wave. So he wants to take the top tower with the Helm of the Dominator. And the thing that he says that like blew my mind was, even as a position 5 Nothl Boon healing saving support, you do not TP anywhere else. This is #1 priority. Even if you're SF bottom, as you can see, the SF here is his hard carry. Even if SF gets dove under tower, you don't care. You are going to play for objectives first. Dazzle, in Dubu's mind, is an objective taker first in the mid game, and he is a counter ganker second, which for me blows my mind because I've always played Dazzle as a position 5 Nothl Boon, if I'm going this route, as the best counter ganker in the game. We want to take objectives with the power spike that we have. All right, so right now we have the Helm of the Dominator, and then at minute 10, we're going to have a catapult wave. At minute 15, we're going to have a catapult wave. And each of these catapult waves, we want to do something. And the reason for that is Shadow Wave makes it so you are very, very safe and strong inside of your own creep wave. And catapults basically add to that. And you can also obviously heal the creeps as they get hit by the tower, so on and so forth. So that's something I'd never really considered to be a priority. I've always thought that you just take the tower after you win a team fight because Dazzle is a very good team fight hero. But Dubu looks at it more objective based. The next big concept that Dubu talks about is this concept of opening the map and creating a safe space for your carry to farm by also being a little more of a, not offensive, but being like a meat shield. In our game here, so this is our carry, Luna. If I was to play Dazzle, I would stand behind the Luna. All right, and the enemy is pressuring our tier 1 tower top, so they're kind of to the left of our screen. So their mid hero SF has an invis rune and has been missing for a while. So Dubu has made the read of they are going to try and find the Luna who is farming our jungle. What Dubu does is he doesn't stand behind the Luna. He stands in front and he has a sentry ward. He places a sentry. He spots the SF. His whole point here is that you don't stand behind your enemy carry to secure the farm. You stand in front. Dubu really takes advantage of the fact that in this new patch, this new grave means that enemies can hit you and you will not die. Okay? In previous patches, the grave would save heroes, but they would basically be dead already. You were just prolonging their death. But now, because grave is very buffed up, but you know, has a longer cooldown, you can safely play around that and be the guy that's getting hit. So the last thing that Dubu really likes to do here is to push the wave and then portal to the other side. So he pushes creep waves with shadow wave and then portals to the other side. And this way he can have impact in both side lanes. And then also he is very careful about what the enemy sees. So as soon as he shows in a lane and casts shadow wave, he knows that the enemy team is going to ping that out. And then he will go and portal to another lane because he knows that if he shows top, the enemy is going to smoke gank the bottom side of the map. Finally, we're going to talk about how Dubu likes to play team fights. Dubu likes to play team fights more as not a backline support hero, but a damage soaker, more like a baiter. Okay, he wants to bait as many spells onto him so that his allies don't get the spells casted on. And he uses Shallow Grave to basically bait out damage. So he wants as many spells cast on him as possible, and he's going to survive through Holy Locket, Solar Crest, and basic items like that. And that's why the hero in his mind is very good right now. He doesn't need a ton of items. He just needs one item to be super duper impactful. And by impact, he means soaking up a lot of spells, and then also using his Q to just cancel, for example, a Shadow Shaman Shackle, or like a Pudge Dismember, or CM Ult, or anything like that. Any channeled ability he will cancel with his Q, but otherwise he doesn't really use it for slows. He's basically saying they cannot keep up with the heal from Locket and then his spells. Finally, guys, Dubu lists 3 counters to Dazzle that is very difficult to play against. So he lists Axe, AA, and Shadow Fiend. Spell build Shadow Fiend. Now, I don't think... Let's first talk about Axe. Obviously, Axe... It's not really Axe the hero that's a problem. It's just the Culling Blade. Okay? That's basically the only thing that makes Axe good against Dazzle. Otherwise, he's not very scary. It's just the Culling Blade that goes through Grave. Dubu recommends that you buy Solar Crest against Axe. So that way, if you have an ally that gets called, all right, boom, you can Solar Crest them, and they're able to negate some damage, and they can run away. All right. Now, for me, when I first heard that, I was very surprised. I was like, what about, you know, Yules? Because I've bought both of these against Axe, and they're actually both pretty good, but I was surprised to hear that he said Solar Crest first. So the reason Yules usually is not good is, number one, the cast range. So you have to be pretty close to Axe to cast it. Solar Crest, you can be a nice, more standard, safe range away. So that's why I like Solar Crest, and I think that's why he mentioned it. The next hero that he lists is AA. This is also a nice standard Dazzle counter. And the items that he recommends is Glimmer Cape and Force Staff. I think these are pretty standard, okay? This is to get you out of the whatever. What is it called? Chilling Feet? Chilling Touch? Cold Feet? very annoying. So you can just Force Staff out of that. And then Glimmer Cape gives you the magic barrier to his Ice Blast. Also, you got to remember that this Ice Vortex crap makes it so you take extra magic damage inside of this Ice Vortex. So you want to make sure that you have Glimmer Cape. Glimmer Cape basically is a core item against AA because he has so much magic damage, and because he makes it so his team does extra magic damage as well. Lastly, Dubu talks about Shadow Fiend. He talks about the spell build Shadow Fiend with Yasha Kaya. And basically this... Oh, he doesn't have any souls, but you guys get the point. We've all played against Shadow Fiends that just, you know, blink in, do this crap, and then you can't react because the cast time is like half a second. Right, and then you get feared for like 10 seconds. You can't do anything. So for this, Dubu likes to buy Aeon Disc and Glimmer Cape. So you can get your ult off, dispels the fear, and then you can cast your spells and do your normal things. Yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much Dubu's guide right there. I would highly recommend you still watch his guide or parts of it. I just wanted to summarize it. What this means for us Dazzle spammers is maybe we're looking at a nerf to Dazzle pretty soon here. Because if Dubu's talking about it, it must be really good. Hopefully it doesn't get nerfed until TI, but in this last tournament, Dazzle has been banned or picked a lot. So we have to be ready for some nerfs. That's just how things go. The good thing is Axe is just as good, so maybe Axe will get nerfed as well. But we'll see. All right, guys. Hope you guys are having a great day wherever you are, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Dazzle!